and then, you know, take full advantage of it to send something in.
Not right now, motherfucker. All right, well, this is probably already started, but there we go. All right, cool. I'm still getting the damn hang of this fucking this damn back and forth between Google Hangouts and going back and forth, making sure that one's muted, make sure this one's not, all that shit. It's kind of a pain in the fucking ass. So my apologies, but hey, at least it was only like maybe a minute or so. So getting better. You know, it might get it down to 30 seconds next time. Might give enough of you people out there enough time to have sex. But what I wanted to get into tonight was maybe this over here in case anybody does have any questions. I can see what the hell you want to know, that kind of thing. I'm gonna try to get over here to that. If I can fucking find it. Motherfucker. I'm gonna find it though. So just hang in there for me one damn moment while I do that, because I know it's here some fucking where. Find it on this on the events here. And if you lose me, all right, cool. This is live now. All right, great. All right. Cool. All right, so we should be on the live chat here, I think. If it's not, then I may have fucked it up again. Who knows? I'm gonna try my fucking best still, because that's how I'd like to do it. All right, cool. All right, there it is. I just got to make sure. But let's see. If anybody is on this live chat, just let me know. And if you have any questions about this, I would definitely love to answer those. Because I do have a good amount of experience with that. Let's see if this does anything here. I got to play with this more, you know, but like I said, it's going to get better as we go, because I like to do this live thing because I like the interaction that we can have, you know, which I think that's really fucking cool. The only thing is I can't do it on this Hangouts thing. I've got to go over here to the live chat on, here we go. I can say something. All right. Let me do this real quick. Fucking still. Hope everybody's doing good tonight, though. You know, I really do. You know, I'm doing pretty well. And today was kind of a crazy day, but you know, every day's somewhat of a crazy day for me. And I'm sure it is for you guys too. Not that it's not, but you know, overall it's good. I think there's a few people on here watching this, and I appreciate that. Whoever you might be, you know, it'd be awesome to have you guys come in here and say hello and let me know who you are that's here. That would be fucking great. If you want to be, you know, remain anonymous and be quiet about it and just watch the show, you can do that too. You know, I definitely want you guys to learn something, but, you know, it's definitely for purposes as well. You know, try to keep it somewhat entertaining, you know, because that's just the way that I like to do it. You know, I'd like to have it to be a little entertaining, you know. But anyways, about these spirits, you know, a lot of people have them come into their lives rather unwelcome, and it can really scare the shit out of them and that kind of thing. And I've come to realize that, you know, there's a lot of people that entities is how they have ended up getting on their spiritual path, which I was one of those people, and it did scare the shit out of me, you know, for real. But you know, that's been years and years and years, and so now, been having a lot of experience with it. You know, I help people out the best I can with it, and even help them to, you know, bring these things into their lives if that's what they really, really want, because there can be a lot of benefits. There can definitely be a lot of potential problems and issues too if you're not fully prepared for it or careful or, you know, that kind of thing. You know, it's not really something where it's this, you know, insane sexual relationship thing or whatnot at all. I mean, it can be more of an enhancement to your spirituality and even your physical life, as far as the way that you come off to others, your appearance, your energy, that you put off to other people that helps to kind of attract them, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, I think like that's first and foremost what they do for people more than anything is that they can give you these enhancements. Very, very protective of you, but they can also be very jealous too. So if you're already in a relationship with somebody, they may not like them, and they may fuck with them, and they may fuck with them hard because they want you off of themselves and this kind of thing. And that's kind of why you kind of have to set the ground rules up front, I guess, and what your intention is for the relationship, what you want out of it. You know, I always kind of tell people the first things to expect are to feel their presence around you. You're probably going to have some dreams where you'll kind of meet them, come into contact with them. You know, if I'm involved in a binding ritual, you know, somebody hires me to do this for them, you know, I will provide a mantra for calling them forth, and I will channel their personal sigil as well to kind of help with that. Either, you know, like a lot of people, they will just, and it'll be pretty damn intense, and it'll be a breathtaking experience, and it might be a little scary too, you know. I've actually, oddly enough, I've had people that have had these experiences just after having interaction with me, like via Skype or Facebook or over the phone and stuff, and it was, you know, not that I did anything deliberately or anything like that. It's just they end up having these experiences. Kind of a coincidental thing, maybe not. I don't know, but I don't do it. You know, I'm not like, you know, trying to like send these things to people or anything like that. I mean, it's something I do as part of my business for my clients. So I'm not just out here being like, hey, you want a free fucking succubus? Here you go. You know, you know, I mean, I think that, you know, you have to put some skin in the game for it to really take the universal law of exchange into effect, and for it to really be something potent, and for it to really mean something to you. You know, I mean, people can just give you shit all day long, and, you know, maybe it'll mean something to you, maybe it won't. But if you, you know, offer up shit, I'm sorry, fuck. If you offer up something for it, typically it's going to mean a little bit more to you, and it's just the whole interaction, the whole exchange is going to mean something. You know, I mean, it's, you know, I guess it really kind of boils down to what you really want in your life and what your intentions really are for it. I mean, they're not really just something where it's like, if you want to have something where it's just kind of like a casual, every now and again sexual experience thing, and that's about it, then you may have that once. but then they're probably not going to stay. They're probably going to move on. Most of them, you know, from my experience, unless you have like some kind of like energy that they're just like, hell yeah, but then they might be, they might overdo it on you and start to drain the shit out of you too. That is possible. And I know people like read things and think that that's like all they do and that they're terrible, this and that, whatever, and it's not. But I'm sure that, you know, it's possible, just like a human partner that has an insatiable appetite that could drain the shit out of you too. You know, it's just kind of how it goes. And yeah, I'm drinking Bud Ice, so don't fucking judge me. I don't give a shit what your opinion is about what I'm drinking. Because I'm not trying to like, I don't know. I know people always get shit about like, this motherfucker's drinking this beer and that beer. Look at this fucker. You know, they talk shit all you want about the Bud Ice. I don't care. It's just what I had and I wanted something to drink. So fuck it. You know, at least I got a beer to drink. Yeah. But, you know, there's going to be many times too where a lot of people have had these situations or these experiences and they probably don't even know it. I know that I have had a lot of that and I've captured it on my little motion nanny cam thing, where some crazy stuff has happened and I had no damn idea. And it's pretty damn obvious what was going on. I don't remember it at all, you know? So that, like, you know, not that cool really. But the biggest thing for me is the enhancements that they have brought into my life. They will give you the ability to glamour, in a sense, in certain situations where they are protecting you. They will give you the ability to kind of put up this, I don't know if you want to call it a false image of yourself or just an enhanced version of yourself that kind of makes other people like, oh, what the fuck? And they kind of forget about whatever it is they were wanting to talk to you about, or, you know, if it's police or whatever that wanted to do this or that to you, you may find it that they just kind of forget about whatever it is that they wanted to do and shake your hand and send you on your way, you know, things like that, which have happened to me. And I kind of do give them the credit for that, you know. I mean, it's could have been another spirit, but I kind of feel like they're the main ones that kind of help with that kind of thing. I do think they would help you to kind of like appear more youthful, more radiant. People will be attracted to you more that maybe wouldn't necessarily be attracted to you. You know, and that stuff kind of comes over time. It's not something that's going to be right away, but that's usually kind of like the first things that you're going to experience as you're slowly building a relationship with them. You know, like anything else, it is a relationship and it takes time to bond with them. So it's important that you try to spend some time with them. You talk to them like they're a real person, which can be crazy because you can be sitting here like talking to someone that you can't see and look like a crazy motherfucker. You know, you can give them offerings of some sort, libations, such as wine and drinks and stuff, maybe some chocolates, whatever, even flowers and stuff like that. Incense and candles too, of course, which I think are great. You know, a lot of like lavender, and I find that they like a mix of like patchouli and dragon's blood too. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like not even 7:00 p.m. and I'm like, what the fuck? But that's what happened last night. You know, I was planning on going on at 9:30, and right around this time, I ended up passing out some kind of weird way and woke up at like 2 a.m. Like, fuck, totally missed that. You know, like shit. That was embarrassing. You know, but I'm sure that I would have been like brain dead because obviously, damn it, obviously I needed to sleep. I think that you'll notice too, like as your relationship goes on with them too, at first you will feel kind of drained, but oh my God. Let me turn this down. At first you will feel drained, but as time goes on, you will start to kind of work with exchanging energy, and you'll be giving them some, but they'll be giving it back to you. So it's kind of like this synergistic effect to where it's kind of like a recycle. And so you'll actually feel like you have more energy and, you know, more magical power, things like that. I've definitely heard reference to, you know, Belial being able to help with this. You know, mine just kind of, I mean, I had never really worked with Belial when my first one came, and it was very scary. God damn it. God damn. It was very scary, and it was something where I was always awake, and then came every single night at the same time, and it was just insane, to say the least. Special powers also come with that. Yours could vary. Usually they're going to be of a sexual nature of some sort, to where you will blow people's minds. They'll be like, what in the hell? Like, how do you do that? You know, like this is different, much different than I could ever expect. And then those that also have similar spirit attachments as you do, you will be able to pick that out in other people. And they'll be able to pick it out with you. So you'll notice this, like certain people be attracted to you and vice versa. And you may not really know why for a while, since, you know, at some point, and then you'll be like, oh yeah. Like, I know why now that, you know, I like her, or why all of these girls or guys are like, hey, you know, and it's like, you can just kind of like look at their picture and you'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, I know, you know, and it's, it takes a while though. I mean, and that's something that you may not ever be able to do depending on your level of intuition and psychic ability and all that, and your relationship with your spirit, because, you know, they'll kind of guide you and tell you and actually help bring certain people into your life, like the right partners and stuff, if they're not jealous fucks. You know, if they're jealous fucks, they're going to want to keep you for yourselves, and they might try to push whoever it is that's in your life away. It's definitely possible, and I have experienced that, unfortunately. Pretty positive I have. And so, again, that's where setting those ground rules are very, very important. You know, working with Lilith or Nama can definitely help there, and maybe even doing like a pact working with them. I don't necessarily know if that summoning ritual where you write the letter to Lilith and burn that and blah, 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 if that's really sufficient to summon one and keep them in your lives. It might be kind of like a hit and run type of deal. You know, you might have one experience and then they never ever come back, and you're like, what the fuck? And that's just kind of how they do. You know, there's some that kind of wander the astral plane, and they may be attracted to your energy, or either something and rock your world, make you like go totally nuts, and you'll be wondering when they're going to come back, and they never come back, and you're like, what the hell, you know, what the hell did I do? Kind of like a like a regular human does, you know. That's what they do a lot of times too. So you know, they can be very similar to that. So I'm looking over here, see if there's any questions. Nobody has any questions or wants to participate. So that kind of sucks, you know. That really kind of sucks, man. I would love to have some people to say hello at least, or answer, like ask me some crazy questions about this shit. I know you got to be interested, because like what I've come to find is a lot of people are interested in this stuff, whether they want to admit it or not. And a lot of people want something like this in their life, whether they want to admit to it or not. You know, I'm not going to out you or anything. You know, I'm not going to be like, holy shit balls, what's up, man? Thank you, motherfucker. Shit, you know, just chilling, just what should I ask? I don't know, man. What do you want to know? I mean, what on this topic interests you the most, if anything? You know, do you have any specific questions about their nature, or maybe dangers, or anything like that? You know, whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of different roads that we can go down, and I'm going to try to cover everything, but questions definitely help to jog my mind of where I can kind of go in what direction, and that kind of thing. You know, and there's definitely there's ways too where you can kind of become more than human in a sense. Certain rituals and things where you can kind of actually become half succubus or half incubus, basically. You know, so there's that too, you know, to where that would be a permanent part of you to gain. Okay. He's asking if there's anything to gain from intercourse with these spirits, and are they dangerous like people say? I've never had an encounter. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's some things to gain, because it can definitely, if you have that you got a relationship with that stays with you, you will get some pretty damn crazy abilities to be an incredible lover, you know, to where you will blow people's minds and they will be addicted to you pretty much. They will, because it's kind of like, it's not just you, it's you and your enhancement and the other person. So it's kind of like a three-way thing in some cases, or in other words. It's not something that they would maybe notice, but you definitely will notice, like, especially at first, like especially if it's somebody like that you're in a ongoing relationship with, you will notice that it's like different here. Like, you will feel kind of that third party energy there. You may do things you don't normally do, and then you may find them doing things they don't normally do either. And it's really strange, man. I will tell you that when you first experience that, because it just will be, you know, like, let's put it like this. Let's say you have somebody that you're in a relationship with, and maybe it's like a 20 out of 100, you know, along a level of 2400, 20 from 100. So it's kind of like, whatever, you know, and then you have that enhancement. And then when you get together, it goes up to like a fucking million, and like, just like that. And it's just like, it'll blow your mind and it'll blow their mind too. And it's just like, what the fuck, you know? And it's like, it can be enough to scare them too, you know. They can definitely get hooked on you in that, because they will be, you know, if it's a female that you're with, she may have things that happen to her for the first time that she's never felt, that, you know, like, I'm gonna get graphic here, like squirting or gushing or something like that. And, you know, you might shock the shit out of them, and it may be a good thing, because they may be like, I want more of this, like, all the time. Or they might be like, what the fuck just happened, and how did that happen? And even though I loved it, I'm kind of scared because that was weird. And then let's say if you have somebody that also has an attachment like that, and you do too, that's like, you know, for what I understand, like a fucking bomb. Like, it'll just be like, you know, take you to almost like another dimension, another whole level of, you know, sexual activity that you could just never even imagine, you know, because it's like a crazy four-way, basically. I mean, not in a sense of like there's four physical people there, but you know, you have you two, and then you have the energy combined of the attachments, and those attachments are actually like, will get excited as shit that this is going to happen, and they'll kind of like push you two together to come together. And so it's kind of like, you know, let's say if it's a incubus succubus thing, they're coming together, and then male people are coming together, and it's just like boom, like, what the fuck. It was a some born in area. I'm not really familiar with that, or with this entity that you're talking about, or whatever that is. I'm not really sure. You know, so many obscure things, brother, that are way over my head. Like, that's why I want to get you on and talk on a podcast, because, you know, my repertoire doesn't really go into a lot of these things that are just, you've obviously had time to really delve into a lot of avenues that I haven't. You know, I've had a lot of personal experiences and things of that nature, but I'm not sure what you're referring to there. I wish I could answer it, but I think, okay. I had not worked with that entity, so I don't know. You know, really, I'm only familiar with Nama and Lilith. If she has some of those aspects and correspondences and things like that, I'm sure that that she would be one that would be good to work with, to kind of bring that. No, it's cool. You're not trying to be confusing. No, I'm just telling you. I'm just, you know, while I have a good base of knowledge, I definitely don't know everything. I mean, that's why, like, when I read a lot of your posts, I'm like, damn, like, this dude definitely knows a lot of shit that I just have not even been introduced to and exposed to, which I think is fucking awesome. It's just something I don't have experience with, you know. Like, I mean, you definitely are a wealth of knowledge. I've put in the time and the study, and you retain it very, very well, which is fucking cool. You know, there's a handful of goetic entities that I've worked with, but that's not one that I'm really familiar with. Why don't you, if you can, tell me a little bit about her or him? I would assume it's a female. For some reason, it feels like it is, but maybe it's not. What do you have? What do you have on it? I'll wait for him to give me an answer here, and maybe I can elaborate a little bit, or at least have some better understanding. You know, because there's, I'm sure, as what he's alluding to, there's definitely more you could work with that could help you with these things. I found that since I've had so much experience with these things, I have been able to quite easily offer direct bindings to people, for this, where it works out fairly well for them. Especially the one that I did this weekend was great. It was a lot better than I anticipated it being. Oh, okay. Well, damn, yeah, I definitely need to check that out if it has to do with Lucifer. Ooh, sex, drugs, music, and astronomy. Wow. That's like 4 of my favorite things out of a lot of shit. So, fuck. So I think, yeah, definitely put all those things together, because I think like if you can put music in ritual, if you can add some kind of psychedelic enhancing drugs to your ritual, like whether it be mushrooms or LSD or some kind of psychoactive element like that to kind of open your mind, expand your mind a little bit. And I'm not trying to push drugs on people or anything like that. It's just, being into a lot of shamanic work, that is my excuse for being able to do that without sounding like a fucking without trying to sound like I'm just a fucked up, want to party and don't give a shit motherfucker. But no, for real, I do use it in my work to open your mind. And any of you that have experienced that, you know what I'm saying. It does open doorways and awareness and your sensitivity within your mind to a lot of different things that normally be cut off to. Like if you're in the forest, you can see the trees are alive, that the grass is alive, the plants are alive. You can see their auras, you can feel them all around you, and it's incredible. It's an incredible experience. It's not something that I would say to do every single day and just party to rave music and eat a bunch of ecstasy while you're doing it and just fucking fuck your brain all up. But every now and again, in moderation and whatever, it can be a very, very enlightening experience. It really can be. It can be a little mind-blowing. It can be a little intense, so be careful with that. If it's not something that you're accustomed to, make sure that you're with somebody that you're comfortable with, in an environment that you're comfortable with. Probably not with a lot of people, especially that you don't know. Either in the comforts and confines of your own home where you feel safe, or in the forest where nobody's going to come out there and fuck with you. You never needed to use drugs to reduce that thought, emotion, and sensual highs. Well, that's fucking awesome. And I've been able to do it too without it, but I just kind of find that with the way my crazy mind works, I'm able to more easily go to those areas and those levels, and to be able to kind of guarantee that I'm going to get there, rather than to try to get there and maybe I don't, type of thing. And it's not something I do a lot, and I don't do it a lot at all, but when I do, it's always awesome and it's always enlightening. I always have these revelations and putting things in life into my perspective, a better perspective in things. But I mean, that would be great to be able to get to that point of where I could actually get there, without the need of those things. And I'm sure that I will. And I have had experiences, I guess, especially with spirits of this nature, because they do induce a insane high of that nature. I mean, it's so prescription drugs taught you some things in the 90s. Yeah, man, I've been there with that too. That's for sure. But they can they have a way of, when they do come to you, when you are cognizant and awake, when their energy comes down on top of you, and kind of like penetrates through your physical body, like into your energy. Well, energetic body, I would say. Maybe not necessarily into your physical body, although you will feel a weight. It's more of like an energetic exchange or bonding, highly orgasmic, like nothing else you've ever felt. It's like times 100, maybe in times 1,000,000 of like physical, regular type of encounters. And it also feels very electric. And it just goes throughout your whole entire body, from your feet to your head, like a tidal wave, like back and forth, back and forth. And, you'll kind of feel this in your diaphragm, like a whoa, 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 whoa. It'll just kind of get more intense and more intense and more intense. And, it's just kind of like, oh, like, what the fuck? And of course, if it's something you're not enjoying, you can break free of it rather easily. You're not really trapped there. That's not their intention. That's not their intention to do that anyway, unless it's a sleep paralysis thing, which I have had, and I do think that it was something like that was holding me down, although that had a more beastly feel to it, and it communicated with me in a telepathic way that I've never established with the first spirit that came to me, like succubus spirit. Never really had any communication. It was just like every night when I went to bed, as soon as I got in bed, I'd feel the weight on the corner of my bed, like heavy as hell, like a real person sat down, and then it would move up close to me and start, bonding into my energetic body. And it could last anywhere from 30 minutes to 6 hours. It just depends. Lose track of time. I don't ever remember feeling drained, though, the next day. Like I do right now. Fuck, like I do right now. Maybe sometimes I was, because I wasn't getting the sleep that I should have gotten, because I was up like holy shit. But it was never something to where I really felt just drained like a lot of people do. And I think that people get these entities confused too with like the parasitic entities that are out there that will latch onto you, that could possibly instill some of the same physical sensations in you that Incubus and Succubus can, but it's kind of like a trick, to kind of get you to be like, okay, yeah. And I think I had one of those one time, and I could tell the difference. Like the good parts of it were very much the same, but it had an element of, I don't know about this at the same time, something that made me want to like be like, fuck this, it's not worth it. Whatever it is that you're putting off that I can read through, it's not worth it to me to take a chance of whatever it is you might be. Whew. Fuck, man. I don't know why I'm so fucking tired. I mean, damn, it's 7 o'clock. It's definitely not my bedtime. This is definitely not my bedtime, but this has happened again last. Huh. The fuck? There is nobody here in this house. And I hope you guys heard that shit. Did y'all hear that shit, dude? Fuck. That was like somebody coming down my steps, dude, straight up. Did y'all hear that shit? I hope you did. It was pretty fucking loud. If something comes and gets me, then, I guess the podcast will be over. But I'm not too worried about it right now anyways. But that was kind of fucking weird, I'll tell you that. That was kind of, I don't know. There, William. Why don't you come down here, motherfucker? You want to join in on the podcast and be like, show them if you're some ugly fuck or if you're some beautiful whatever. That would be cool. Did any of y'all hear that though, for real? The like 6 or 7 steps that were like loud as shit. Guess not. It was loud though. Been having a lot of that around here. You'll have shit like that too. So you got to be ready for that as well. Of the not really quite poltergeisty activity, but you can definitely have some disturbances in your house, that kind of thing. It can be a little disconcerting sometimes, but you know, I was just wondering how many of you have had any of these experiences, you know, of mainly where you're going to be laying in bed and you may wake up to it, or you may be like me. When my first experience is, it was like when I was always first going to sleep and it would come to me like right away, like clockwork. And so I was always awake. Oh, you did? You heard a sound other than my breath? Now, this was like steps coming. This was like feet coming down the steps, but I wouldn't be surprised if you heard. I mean, like on my podcast the other night, was it last night? 2 nights ago? Might have been last night. I think it was last night. She actually went right past me. You can see her like fly by me. And then you hear her go, like that. Like, I mean, it's on there, like 37 to 38 minute mark on the one with JS. It was with JS Garrett. It was, I mean, it's no mistaking it at all. It's on there. And then some crazy shit happened to me later that night after that. And they like to mess with my feed and make shit distorted, kind of like they're doing right now a little bit, mainly with the video, but the audio too, especially if I go to talk about something that they don't want me talking about right now. Oh, fuck. I'm getting goosebumps now. So that'll happen too, you know. That's all part of like feeling them around. So you might see something here in a minute because I am feeling this shit, man. It's not a terrible thing, but it's just something that it's a jealousy thing because I'm giving attention to something other than her. What a bitch. You know, it's not like I'm going to be on here all fucking night, you know. We got other things to do too. But I just thought, since this was something that's prevalent in my life at the moment, I wanted to share it with you guys and answer questions and maybe even talk about your personal experiences with it. I know we had a lot more people on here a minute ago, and they've dropped off because they were like, fuck this shit, I guess. Or maybe they just were like, I'm going to go lay in bed and see what happens. And hey, if that's what you want to do, go do, cool. More power to you and good luck. Hope it something happens good for you. You know, it's one of those things where I think they're attracted to certain people. And you can very easily call one forth, or, you know, you're going to have to summon it and it may not still come, or you'll have to have a practitioner to help you out with that to get one over to you. So, I mean, it's just hard to say why, you know, why certain people can have that so easily and certain people cannot. I don't know, you know, especially when it's like there's people that want one so bad and they can't get one, and there's people that don't even think about it and don't even give a fuck, and they get an unbelievable one, you know. That is not how that works. Oh, but I will say, like, those noises, like, really did kind of give me a little bit of a fright. I wish it would have picked up a little bit more. We all could have heard that, but I'm sure you're going to probably hear things that I don't even hear because of the whole way EVPs work and things like that. And I'm sure as I continue on with this podcast, there's going to be more, because it's how it's been on every single one of these podcasts I've done for like the last 4 days, especially at night. There has always been some kind of crazy manifestation, physical that you can definitely see, audible, from loud knocks and footsteps to actual voices. And, you know, I confirmed it. I went back and watched it and I was like, damn, I'm like, yep, everybody heard that. There's no doubt about that. You know, my dogs aren't even here right now. Nobody here but me and whatever spirits might be here, you know. So that was kind of weird. But I guess, you know, if you really want to try to get one without hiring someone, the best thing to do is to really, you know, learn whatever the correspondences are. From what I understand, like lavender incense is great. You know, making sure that you're fresh out of the bathtub or the shower so that you're clean. Kind of lay on your bed and relax and chill and just really go into a deep relaxation experience, you know. Call them forth some kind of way. You know, you may have a name that will intuitively come to your mind. And if that's the case, then you can just call that name, you know, whatever it is. You know, usually if it's going to be like a mantra of some sort, it's going to be, there it is. It's locking me up, man. Locking my shit up. But it's going to be more of like a deep tone mantra. You know, a lot of their names have like 3 syllables. So like, let's say if it was like, you know, like Mastua or something like that might be the name, you know. So mantra would be like kind of usually be like Mastua, like, you know, kind of like keep it deep and drawn out like that, you know, and kind of lay there and just close your eyes and just keep doing that mantra over and over, calling their name, you know, whatever, if it comes to your mind. Or you could just refer to them as, you know, send me my spirit lover, you know, whatever, you know, whatever feels right to you, and just have that intention and set the mood. You know, incense and candles will definitely draw them close to you, just like any other spirits, welcoming. You know, it's something that does help call them forth. You know, for people that have them that do not want them, if they are causing issues for you and maybe in your relationship, because they will definitely do that. You know, they could cause your partner not to be interested in you. If your partner has one and maybe doesn't even know it, they might not be interested in you all of a sudden for some reason, and you can't get intimate, you can't get close, and it's kind of like, what the fuck is going on here? This is weird. You know, you might have to kind of perform some banishing, you know, things from a Judeo-Christian standpoint. As far as that goes, this one definitely does not work on that. I know that I tried that at first when I was flipping out, and before I got into this kind of thing, that did not work. It did not work at all. It actually made it a little worse. So it might actually be a good idea, now that I think about it. You could like use some of that shit to be like, to maybe even bring them closer to you, maybe, because they'll be like, oh, fuck you, you know. But right, yeah, sure. The pronunciation, yeah, like Tulu, whatever. I can't even know. I don't know how you even pronounce that correctly because I've never really gotten into Lovecraft stuff really that much. But yeah, definitely they can be very, very hard to pronounce. I mean, I had one time that was Za'aliowa, and I mean that wasn't too hard to pronounce, but that was definitely a lot more than 3 syllables. Um, and that was a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool name. They can have some very interesting names. Varzama was one. Um, I'm not going to say any of the other names, but those are two that were in the past. I mean, you can try calling them. Maybe they'll show up. But as far as getting an attachment that would enhance you personally more, like if you're a guy and you want to attract girls, physical, live human being girls, then you could have an incubus to enhance you, to enhance your physical appearance, to draw them into you, close to you. You'll notice that you'll have a lot of women just all of a sudden being like, messaging you and wanting to know about you and messaging you every fucking day. And a lot of them will even tell you, like, I don't know why, and it's like, yeah, I know why, but they might not know why. And then you might discover that as you communicate with them, it'll make sense to you that, like, oh, okay, that their attachment saw the attachment in you, became interested, and so they're, it's more of like, in a sense, those two attachments are trying to come together, and the two physical people are kind of a byproduct, bystanders of that other union that wants to come together. So have fun with it, I guess, if it feels right. It'll definitely probably be something that will be something you'll remember, but then it could be something that will just totally ruin everything else for you as far as like experiences in the future, because nothing will ever top it or add up to it. You'll just be like, shit, like all this other regular bullshit, mundane and regular and typical, that it doesn't do enough for me anymore. Like, I got to have this, I mean, and I would never really be exclusive, like with something like that. I don't know where that rabbit hole goes. I think you should always have, if you can, a relationship with some kind of physical human being, that's just what makes you happy. Maybe you're somebody that's more reserved and shy and closed off, and you like to be on your own by yourself and that kind of thing, then maybe this would be something perfect for you. It's just really all in what you want. There's a lot of different rituals and methods out there. I've tried a lot of them. Some of them didn't work for me. Better than anything was just kind of being open and, letting it happen organically and naturally. When the time is right, it'll happen. There'll be some that, like, from what I read anyways, that will only come to you on like the 15th of every month, one time, and they'll be gone, and you won't see them for another whole month. But then they'll usually come like clockwork, But then there'll be some that you'll have an everyday occurrence with, where you will definitely be able to build and kindle some type of somewhat meaningful relationship. I will let you know, brother. Yes, thank you for chiming, for stopping in, and I would do that tomorrow. Friday tomorrow? Yeah, I probably can. So I will definitely let you know. If not, then we'll do it for next week. But we'll definitely do that. I want to do that. That would be fucking awesome. Because I know you've got a lot of shit to share with people that I don't have. So that will be awesome. But does anybody else have any questions about these things? Anybody want to know anything in particular? There's definitely a lot to these spirits. And, like I was saying before, there are parasitic entities that will kind of pose as these entities they're kind of like creepy crawly little fuckers that will latch on to you and give you health issues and suck nutrients out of you. And actually felt one crawl up between me and somebody else one time, and I thought that it was the spirit, the sexual spirit morphing, but I'm quite sure that it was not. It was just something else, since I was so open, that kind of came in and slid in between us, and I could feel it like, oh, it was a fucking nasty, creepy, crawly feeling. It was fucked. Those kind of things you definitely don't want to have around. You need to banish those things right away, because they will fucking really cause some bad shit physically and mentally too, but mostly physically. Things that doctors can't really figure out totally. They're treating you with medicine and it's like, I don't know why you're not getting better. This is really weird. And if they're not a spiritual person or somebody, have no idea. And if you tell them that it could be that, that's a great question. Why do they disappear? I've had that happen too. And that's a really, really good question. You will find that you can have some really insane experiences with some of them in the beginning. And they might stay for like a month or two or a couple of weeks, or you may have just a handful of experiences and you think that you're kind of like on the road to building a relationship with them. And then all of a sudden they're just gone. And you can keep calling for them and keep calling for them and wait. And they never fucking come back. And it's like, it's just really strange. And I don't really know what to make of that. The only thing I can think is that they did not resonate with you the way they thought that they would. A lot of these are not just interested in the sexual energy exchange. They are interested in that, but they are also interested in you being serious about your spiritual ascent and things like that too. And if they feel that you're not taking that seriously, they may just be like, he's not growing in that spiritual sense, and they want some of that energy too. Or maybe you're someone that just can't kind of like regenerate that energy enough for them to satisfy them. Or they may just be players, where they're just like, hey, I'm going to come in and get what I want for a minute. And then, once I've got what I want, I'm going to go bounce onto somebody else. And I think from what I understand, these are kind of more of like a incubus or succubus. They wander on the astral plane and they may just happen to notice you and stop in. And they may have a good time and say, hey, I'll try this a few more times. But on the way back to you one day, they may get a whiff of something else and be like, oh, well, that's super yummy. Let me go see what's going on with this. And they may really like and resonate with that person and kind of forget about you, and I've definitely heard about that happening, experienced that. I kind of feel too that in talking to a lot of people that have had that kind of thing where they've never came back before, if you ever have a situation where you banish one, it kind of seems like you close the door for any of them ever coming back, any of them. And I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of rite that can be and see that can correct that. But I think that I have found that to be a common thing with people too, that like they thought that they liked it, then they figured that maybe I didn't like this, maybe it's causing some other problems that they were kind of relating to that entity, that maybe it was and maybe it wasn't, but for whatever reason they decided like, all right, I got to get rid of them. So they banish them, and they never come back, and none of the other ones will ever come back. You just kind of like fucked it forever, in a sense. I think it's like, they probably have some kind of communication, or it leaves some kind of mark on your energy body that like, you're someone that may kick them to the curb, like that you're a player too, like they don't want players shit, and they're like, fuck him, he's already dumped like 3 of us, fuck him, I'm gonna go to somebody else. That's the only thing that I can think of. I've heard of that, and I've experienced that, and that's really the only commonality that I can find between what I've experienced and people that experienced are people that had instances where they banished them. I don't know if you did that or not at one point in time, or if they just straight up disappeared on you for no reason. I mean, there was nothing different that you were doing, and you were anticipating their return, and it's like they just packed up and walked out like a common bitch. I don't know. But in my case, it was something that I banished. But luckily for me, over time, it took years and years and years and years, until one finally came back, but I was very open and interested, for the whole 4 years in between that. So, it may just take time, and it may just be that wasn't the right one. It's really hard to say, or maybe they felt like they were just going to seriously cause you some issues. Maybe they were draining the shit out of you, and they were like, if we continue with this, we're really going to hurt this fucker. So maybe it's best we go. Like he's maybe not going to be too well off if we keep doing this, which is possible. It's very possible. I mean, there's plenty of people that once they start down that road, that's all they want, and people become secondary, and they just focus on that. And I guess, hey, I can't blame them. I mean, it's that relationship takes work, but it's a whole lot easier and that's bullshit to put up with than a person. But from what I understand too, if you really, really, really want to build a solid relationship, you have got to like totally treat them like they are a real person daily. You have to talk to them out loud. You have to give them offerings, include them in what you're enjoying. If you're having some wine, you got to give some to them. If you're having some chocolate, you need to put some out there for them. You need to, romance them a little bit, make them feel like you want them there by these little gifts and little things. Because I think it's kind of like anything else, if you don't give them attention, they're just going to go and, they like that attention too. So, the fuck. And that's kind of a weird thing too, with that. It's like, when I was reading things about that, I was like, well, does that really mean that you are getting so deeply into talking to this potential imaginary friend or entity so much and to an extent of where it's so real that you are convincing yourself that it is real, or that you are really starting to fashion and make and take form of a egregore type thought form spirit? Right. Yeah. Maybe so. That's possible. But, if end up doing the things that you want them to do. Who cares if it's a real form? I mean, they can manifest in a lot of the same ways, you know. If you ever have an experience with one and it doesn't come back, the first thing that you can do is an evocation to try to communicate with them and see why. If they'll talk to you or if they'll answer you. You may have one of their sisters or brothers answer you, and maybe they'll want to come and chill. Who knows, But the other one probably would have already talked mad shit about you, and they probably have been like, fuck this motherfucker. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say, but I have experienced that, yes. And that's a great freaking question. How long has it been since they disappeared, if you don't mind me asking? Like years, months? And if so, how many experiences with that one did you have? Was it ongoing? Was it monthly, for a period of months? What was that like? Because for me, it was every single night. As soon as I got into bed, like I could, expect it to be like, it's going to start right now. And it would, like, fuck. So but it was cool because I was always totally aware and cognizant of what's going on. And that was her trying to make me tired, so I quit. 3 weeks ago by. Oh, okay. That's not too bad, though. That's not too bad. Don't get discouraged. 3 weeks is not bad. They may have some other things that they're doing they need to take care of. I wouldn't give up all hope. But what I would do is to think outside of the box a little bit and think of it and take an approach of more if this was a actual human lady, like what would she like? What could you do to rekindle things with her? Maybe it's through a small gift or token offering, whatever. And, set up a nice mood, candles and incense and nice environment. Kind of really want them to come back and spend time with you in that romantic way. And, they'll always feel you, on the astral plane. And you might even want to add in some little self-love type of thing to where, while you are actively thinking about them, because, like during climax, like they will definitely feel, especially that you're thinking about them during that, and you've sent them a huge dose of that energy that they like. So that's what I would try first, to get her back, to try that. Like really, you might have to do it a few times too. You might have a few times where you get it all straight and romantic and this and that, and she just never shows up, But another thing I'd recommend too is like what I've done is get a little nanny cam so that you can see what happens to you when you're sleeping, because a lot of them are going to come then and you just never know. Like, I mean, this one here, she may have been coming to you every night, but you just have no damn idea, which for me is not so damn cool, because why would I want to do that with something I don't even know it's there, like that's it's crazy. But, it does take that to establish a solid relationship. You got to work at it. You got to do your part. You can't just expect her to run up on you with everything she's got wide open and you take what you were to get. Fuck. There's some out there like that. But in my experience, there's far less of those than there are that want something real and meaningful and, that kind of thing. Let me ask you this. Have you had physical relationships with her, like physical encounters that were not necessarily physical, but like majorly energetic, to where it was like, take your breath away, holy shit type crap? Or was it like solid physical, almost like human woman type thing, or what? I'm always interested to know that. Because everybody experiences something different. You know, I never saw her really, except for the other night on the podcast when she went past me. And everything I ever felt was of an energetic nature, never solid, never human-esque at all. But some people, if you know, have very, very real experiences where, fuck, motherfucker, where it feels like there's a real physical human being on top of them. And I think that if you do get into a relationship with that, I mean, that will come over time. It's probably going to take, oh shit, really? God damn. Wow. Oh, how long has she been there with that? Before the 3 weeks when she disappeared, how long was this going on? I'd love to know that. Because that's fucking awesome. I think that's the pinnacle of what everybody would want. I mean, you know, you're saying she felt like a real lady being there, as in, I would assume penetration and thighs and hands and breasts and all that kind of shit like that, basically. Wow. Only 2 months, man. Wow. And is this something that you were able to bring to you yourself? And fuck this dude. And was this yourself, like, purposefully, or is this something that just like showed up one day and scared the shit out of you? You brought her to yourself. Like, you summoned her. Okay. So you did summon her, yes. Okay. Wow. Wow. That's some shit, man. Ah, okay. Okay, cool. Did you do the whole letter thing, write the letter to her and drop of blood, burn the letter, all that kind of stuff, like that basic ritual, or was it something a little bit different? You add your own twist to it, something like that. Okay. Okay, for a spirit wife. Okay. Relationship and that kind of thing. I would say if it's been 3 weeks, she's just taking care of some things that she needs to take care of, and that she'll be back. No blood. Okay. Well, then maybe you need to concentrate on her, if you have her name, and turn it into a mantra like I was talking about earlier. You know, if it's 3 syllables, you know, kind of like a very deep, like Mastura type of thing, over and over and over, like 15 minutes before bedtime or something. And if you can get an image of her sigil in your mind, draw that out, and then maybe add a drop of blood to that, or some other kind of fluid to that. Maybe put that under your pillow. Yeah, a gift for her would be great. Because I mean, I really do think, from what I understand, to maintain these relationships is like, especially like one like you have. I mean, you've got the shit. Like, you've got, I mean, I don't think it really gets much better than that. So I think that you have to really, on a daily basis, she's probably with you like all the time. So you have to, like, just as I'm talking to you right now, be holding a conversation with her, you know? And I think it's like the more real that you have a mindset that this is real as shit, like that it's a real person, and that you're she's actually, you know, right there beside you. You can't see her, but talk to her like she is. Treat her like she is. Take her, which she probably does go with you anyways, but like include her in all of your shit. Give her gifts, give her offerings. You know, if you're having some certain thing to eat, put some there for her too, you know, and don't eat it, of course, like that's for her, and you can do with whatever you want to do with it later, but you know, that just needs to be hers. You know, but yeah, I mean, gifts and things would be cool. I don't really know, besides like incense, candles, food, wine, and different things like that. I guess you could get, well, I think what I've also heard is you can kind of like create like astral gifts for her, like astral jewelry. You know, kind of like create, you know, on the astral plane, like a diamond ring or a necklace or something like that. She could actually wear around her, you know, spiritual body. You know, you can do things like that. You know, just get creative with it. And that might be, you know, maybe that's something that she's waiting for. But chances are, I think maybe she's just taking care of some things and you know, that she'll be back. But the gifts and all that kind of stuff can't hurt. And I would, even if you're not sensing her presence, I would just act like she's there, you know, and it's, the more you do that and the more you treat her like she's real, the more real she's going to be. And I'm just surprised that she was that real for you that soon. That is some shit. That is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. The food, man. Yeah. You know, like, you know, a candlelit dinner, romance, just like any other woman would appreciate, really. You know, aspect there. And you know, and when I think about it like that, it's kind of like, you know, are you really just kind of like convincing yourself that something is real by communicating with it so much every day that you're like brainwashing yourself, like it's like an imaginary friend or something, you know? Maybe, but I think there's power in that too, in that if she was present, she is present. Obviously, she's bonded to you in some kind of way, but there'll be some appreciation there for that, you know, and that might be what she's waiting for. Maybe she's just kind of like feeling neglected in a way, you know, or maybe she's feeling that like, you know, well, he asked for a spirit wife, but all he wants to do is fuck me, you know, fuck. I need some other form of, you know, terms of endearment and spoiling and whatever else, you know. And that's something that's, you know, for us humans, we just don't understand because it's not necessarily like a real physical human relationship. So you don't really wouldn't think they give a shit about that kind of stuff. But what I understand, they do. You know, so do all that you can without looking crazy, you know. But I mean, if you don't give a fuck about looking crazy, then fuck it. I mean, there are plenty of people that think I'm fucking crazy, that's for sure. And I don't give a shit. You know, hey, I've had enough experiences to know that I know it's real. So fuck them. They can, you know, live their stupid, bullshit, mundane lives and think I'm crazy and whatever else. I don't really care, you know. So I guess you shouldn't either. But that's what I would do, because it sounds like you had something really good there, brother. You know, like really fucking good. And something that a lot of people really want. And a lot of people could probably learn a lot of shit from you on that, because goddamn. Did you have a relationship with Lilith before you asked for this, or was this something that you just went into kind of one night, going straight to Lilith, and you know, she was kind enough to bestow this upon you? Or did you already have some kind of relationship with her before that? Yeah, so be it, man. Right? Exactly. Fuck them, man, dude. You know, they think you're crazy. Fuck them. I think they're crazy for living a zombified fucking sheeple life, spending their fucking time watching TV and fucking not really getting to know who they are and what they're capable of, and that there's more to life than going to work and coming home and fucking just being like, you know, because there's a lot more to it. And things like this can definitely enrich your life, you know. And she will bring better things to you too, man. She'll, you know, unless there were specifications that you wouldn't bring a physical woman into the relationship, she'll help you to draw them in too, you know. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things about the whole thing, you know, is that kind of stuff. Just the enhancements that they will give you, psychic gifts, you know, the glamour effect, like I talked about before, and making you feel or appear more, you know, younger and vibrant and attractive, and, you know, exude this sexual prowess that, you know, that maybe you didn't put off before necessarily. Because I think you'll see, I found anyways, that's how it is, you know. So I always think it's like, it's not me. It's not me, man. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. You did it at 3 a.m. You did it, man. A lot of people fail at that one and don't really get much results. You know, I mean, I think I've done one similar to that a few times, and I just didn't really felt like it worked, you know, for me. But it's not always going to be something that's going to be like a manifestation that same night where you're like feeling the wind by you and your heartbeat racing and this and that and all that. It might be a couple of weeks before you actually have your first encounter or something. You know, so don't be discouraged if y'all, you know, if you guys do a ritual for it and it doesn't happen right away. It doesn't mean that it didn't work. It just might mean that they need to help you with your being cognizant of what energy feels like and all of this and that. And it may kind of help you build on that to where you can feel them. They might be there. You just might not even fucking know it, you know. But that's pretty cool, man, that you had that. I mean, I have never experienced something that was that physical. It's always been of an energetic nature. Like it was like a major energy exchange that is like nothing I could ever explain or describe, really. It's just crazy. It's beautiful. It's insane. But you know, if you've had something physical, that's crazy. You know, and that's wonderful. But you know, so many people are going to have this happen spontaneously. And, you know, and if you do, try to set ground rules with it. You know, if you're feeling like violated and scared and whatever else, speak out loud to it, you know. And if you have to like get crazy with it, if it's scaring the shit out of you, fucking stand up and stand your ground and be like, look, motherfucker, this is not something I want. Or if you are going to come, you can only do this and this and this until we get more comfortable and acquainted, and then maybe we'll take it further. But if not, we're not going to do this, you know. And I think they'll respond to that too. I mean, at least some other entities do. But, you know, just be careful and, you know, to the best of your ability, know what you're dealing with, because there are things out there that may not be what they appear to be. Because I kind of went through that too, where it was unbelievable feeling, but at the same time, I knew Oh, really? Yeah, I've heard that that they would do that too. Actually, that's funny. I've heard that. But then I've heard of like that it not really being like something like a finger, but like a chicken's foot or something. It was like it like totally scared the shit out of them. Like, what the fuck is this? You know, kind of thing. But I think that what you're describing there is actually like them really trying to bond with you, like kind of that, like a method of entering into you to really bond with you. I mean, they could use that area, they could use your ear, whatever kind of entry point, you know, but more, you know, it's an erotic type of area. So maybe that's, you know, why they went in that way, you know, it's possible. So I think if that's taking place, then obviously she's, you know, bound to you in some kind of way. So she'll be back. She'll definitely be back. Just put in some work, you know, put in some work, set the mood, set the environment. You know, every night, I do it every single night, you know, just be romantic as you can and do things that any other woman would want to draw her close to you. And, you know, she may just come to you in dreams for a while. I would say too, get a nanny cam, put it up in your room, and you might be surprised at what the fuck is happening to you, because I was. And it's kind of crazy, because how can I enjoy something that I don't even know what the fuck's happening? You know, like, that's weird. But at least then you'll know that they're there and that they're coming around, you know. And then for whatever reason you're not awake, but, you know, tell them, like, you know, wake me up. Wake me up if you're gonna do this shit. Yeah, work on it, man. Let me know how it goes too. I would love to get, you know, let you give me some updates on how that works, because sounds like you have really really hit a home run, and it was kind of like instantaneous right off the bat. You went from you know, the very bottom intro of it to the very best of it, you know. And like, not many people will experience that. Like, that takes a lot of time usually, you know, a lot of attention. And you have the time and the attention, they become a little more physical, a little more physical, a little more physical over time, to where it gets to where you've already got it, you know. So that's fucking crazy. That's cool. Jealous. I'm sure a lot of people will be too, like, motherfucker, you know. But you know, hey, everybody's gonna experience something different, you know. But that's great. Well, it's 8 p.m. and I got a little drive I gotta make, so I guess I will bid you guys adieu. Oh, cool. All right, perfect, man. And mine is jdtemplehealing@gmail.com. I'll put it in the description at some point. There are my other videos and everything here lately, because I just have been lazy and figured other people would come out other videos and find it. But it was awesome to meet you, man, and I'm glad that you. That's why I like the live ones, because this interaction is what is the shit, and I think that helps a lot of other people too. You know, the question and answer thing is awesome, and, you know, it's not that I can answer every question, but I can usually at least have some insight or outlook on it, or know someone that's had experience with it, or that kind of thing, you know. So fuck yeah, man. But thanks for everybody that tuned in. I really appreciate it. And I might be one tomorrow, I might not, I don't know. Who knows? But you know, I'll be around. So thank you guys, and have a good night. And you know, get your romance on, get your gifts on, and you know, wine and dine them, and little thing. And you never know what might happen tonight. Tonight might be the night. So I'm gonna roll out. Thank you guys. Love you all, and I will see you all, like, very, very soon.